Hey guys, Infidel1258 here. Hope you're doing well. And today I'm joined by special guest Jarvie. We're going to be talking about Rise of the Pixels. This is a new NFT blockchain-based video game on Hive, I believe. Yes, it is. And we're going to be learning more about it, talking about it, and just asking, maybe having a catch-up too. It's been a while since we've had a chance to talk. Jarvie, how you been? And you were just saying before we went live, you had a fun adventure just recently. Love to hear maybe a minute or two about what's new and how you're doing.
Well, doing great. Yes, I went to go see the total eclipse. I drove from Utah over to Texas, and I've just been taking my time, and I have a trailer, Airstream, so
Cool.
taking my time, coming back across country, playing some pickleball, working,
Nice.
and driving. So here I am, and but today our team launched. We're in the events leading up to the launch of a new project, a new game.
Awesome.
So
I've heard about this through you guys' website, but I don't more recently. I don't know that I've seen. Are you guys promoting this on PeakMonsters? I know that there was one time a blog post, but it's not regularly being talked about, is it?
We should be. You should be seeing that on PeakMonsters and PeakD. Probably some banners, some stuff coming up very soon. Just kind of put out the big first post last night, and then another one today, and the events just kind of started. I don't know, a few hours ago. I can't remember.
Cool. Your trip sounds amazing, by the way. I said this before we went live, but man, I'd love to do that sort of adventure. And I know I was listening to different scientists talking about it, and it's like these happen actually kind of regularly, but often the totality is visible from the ocean. So, most people don't get to see those things.
Yeah, the next one in 2026, it goes over Greenland, it hits the tip of Iceland, and then it ends in Spain.
Huh.
And then there's another one that goes through Africa, a decent amount of Africa.
Cool.
There's another, then I think the next one's over near Australia or somewhere around there. But the next one in North America, is in 2020 or 2045. So mostly in Canada, where you're at.
Yeah.
And then 2046 is a big one in the US. It goes all across the US, hits Utah. So just a lot of it. So
really cool.
Just another 22 years.
Yeah.
Just got to stick around.
Hopefully I'm here. I'm 43 now. I'm getting old enough that I forget my age. You go to, I don't know if that happens to you, Jarvie, but
yeah,
you go, I'm 40. Oh,
calculate it real fast. Yeah.
So hopefully we'll be here and we can go see it, but we'll see. But in the meantime, there's lots of fun things, man. It's I feel like that is actually an interesting kind of almost segue, because to me, that's a special moment, really special moment, where especially technologically we have this capacity through social media and through the internet to reach out across the world and be like, hey world, this is about to happen. People, I know you are one of them. They come from all over the place to go see this cool thing, and to me that's an indication, or tangentially, even though it's an indication of what we're seeing with blockchain gaming, or what I think we will see, where we're actually have something really special happening, and we're starting to reach different people and groups and different countries, and I think the tip of the iceberg has only been seen for that right now.
It's a great event. People should travel to go see it, in my opinion.
So what about Rise of the Pixels? How did you guys even, is it you and Asgarth that are leading that show, or what?
There's four of us on the team, me and Asgarth, and then another Hive community person that's active on a couple different projects. Cool. Fuji, or his name is, he goes by Fuji, and then another person that goes by Yozen. That's on our Peak Open Projects team, and that's what we've been doing a lot in the last 2 years.
Yep.
A lot of Peak Open projects, while Splinterlands hasn't done much updates that impact PeakMonsters. So they do a lot of other stuff, but there's not much that impacts what we need to do on PeakMonsters. And we were on a good place in PeakD for a moment, so we switched over to working on open source projects for all of Hive. So we created a chat interface that is used by several different websites on Hive. We want more websites to use it. And then we've got the blockchain explorer. We've got the interface for the Eternal Marketplace. We've got a route system. That's a fun thing if you ever want to show your users that. It's a system where you say, I've got 1 million DEC. I'd like to know the best route to get it from Hive Engine or from Splinterlands itself all the way to Bitcoin on Binance.
Cool.
Or Bitcoin on Gemini, or Bitcoin just on Bitcoin blockchain. Like, what's the best route? And it will tell you a ton of different routes and kind of figure it out for you.
Wow. That's interesting.
It's pretty cool. A lot of Hive emphasis. All the Hive Engine stuff is integrated. All Splinterlands, like, because you've got DEC on Splinterlands or DEC on Hive Engine or DEC on Ethereum, you know, so there's like 3 different places that it can be. So we did a bunch of that, and then we have the polling system that just launched, so you'll start seeing more and more polls on PeakD.
Cool.
And Essency and Hive Hub and hopefully a few others.
Cool.
And then another one that's coming out soon that not too many people know about it. It's kind of like a reverse Fiverr. You say, "Hey, I need someone, you know, to do this," and then they come to you and say, "Yeah, I can do that."
Wow, dude, that's rad. Those are very cool innovations. So those are just side gigs that are going to be. Are they going to be, in some sense, tied to, or not really? They're just like their own thing, aren't they?
They're their own thing. They're their own thing that can be implemented by any interface on Hive. So
really
we
cool.
encourage all of them to use them.
Yeah.
But not all of them are. They're kind of, you know, distracted, lazy, or whatever. You know, like they've got their own things that they're working on.
Yeah.
But we plan on it. We've implemented a bunch of them on PeakD, but most of them are on Hive Hub.dev.
So I want to just spend a minute. I do want to talk about Rise of the Pixels. I want to hear more about what the game is.
Yes.
But I definitely want to mention. I want to poke at that routing thing that you mentioned, because that sounds like a Google Maps for tokens. Like I want to get to from A to B. How do I do that?
Yeah.
That sounds very.
And we'll put
cool.
in more locations, more things. If you know, there's communities that are like, come in and like, hey, we're a Polygon community. We want this in here, and we're like, okay, cool. But we've done most all the Hive community stuff, so
that's really cool. Because one of the barriers for us as being like a smaller blockchain and maybe a smaller community, and maybe some of our tokens aren't listed, is how do I get this from here to there? And if there really was, if I guess I don't fully understand how this would happen on the back end, but if it's possible to make that painless, expeditious, and let's say safe and reliable. Like, I think, because as it is, even for somebody who's been here many years, there are times where I go, I don't really know how to do that, and I can figure it out. I know I can figure it out, but I'm just not gonna. And so I haven't. I'm thinking of certain, other games that require a different token on some other blockchain. It's like, I can figure it out, but I'm just not gonna, because it's actually more complicated than I would want, let's say. So that's pretty neat.
Yeah. Well, this shows you what steps, but it's not going to do them for you.
Sure.
I mean, there are some things that we can implement on Hive side of it to help, so you can just click the button. But there's usually people are wanting to go from some sort of exchange.
Yeah.
So obviously we can't go into the exchange for you, but we can tell you, if you're going from there, this is the impact that going from here to there is going to take, and from here to there. But anyways, we're here to talk a little bit. You wanted kind of the background. That's what the team's been working on, a lot of things. We saw an opening. We're running out of those open source projects, and we're going to be focused on some other things coming up. But Rise of the Pixels is just, it's kind of like a passion project for Asgarth, and we all chipped in and working with him. There is a heavy emphasis on this game is only made possible now because we live in the age of AI. So all of our we didn't have to like, you know, spend millions of dollars and hire people to do like all these graphics that would have been insane to do.
Yeah.
And the rating system that we implement in there, and the review system that we do when you create a game, you know, it reviews it, and it's really fun to kind of read some of the reviews.
Cool.
All that sort of stuff, very, you know, enabled by a bunch of chat GPT type stuff.
Leveraging the AI
and all
capacity to make things far more economical, faster, and easier to implement, hey?
Yes. So it was fun to create a game and like kind of get into that world. And it's been in beta for a while, and people have been playing and poking around and giving us information.
Yeah.
And he has just been creating feature after feature after feature. So I don't know if you're showing the screen yet.
Right now I'm looking at the training center, and I'm just looking at the different, like, I wanted to actually talk about even like what the game is. I believe it's like a design your own game type game, and there's NFTs related. That's my superficial understanding. But can you give us even like a 1 minute, you know?
Are we looking at mine or looking at yours?
Oh, right now I'm looking at mine, but let me open yours. I'm going to open Discord.
How do I look at?
So there's a share your screen underneath your image.
I've got mine shared.
Okay. Now I'm pulling up yours right now. I can see it. It's just thinking.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Now I'm looking at your Rise of the Pickles leaderboard, pre-launch event, best and worst game of the day, etc.
Perfect. Yeah. So as I was saying, during when we started, it was basically just shop and project hub and research and training center. So it was my resources, project hub and shop. And so during the beta, he launched all these other things. So we've got a lot going on, but it just kind of shows like we did it a little bit different, development that I think some others may have done. We're kind of launching with a lot already going on.
Okay.
So if you go to Project Hub, this is where you're correct. The idea of the game is that you have a studio, a video game studio in the Pixelverse. So we found a rift to another dimension here on Earth, and it's this dimension's called the Pixelverse. We call it the Pixelverse, and we've worked out with that dimension that we're going to bring them video games. And we have a lot of experience here on Earth, right? Because we've been playing video games for like 40 years almost. And so we're going to help them create video games, but they're doing the work over there. So what you need to do is go to the shop, and you would not buy, but you're getting an NFT, right? It's an NFT type game.
Yep.
And you would presently you can only buy over on the regular site. I'm on the beta site.
Yeah.
So starting next Monday, it's all the regular site. You know, like we're doing a 1 week launch event here.
Yep.
But you'd go and buy packs, and they would have an accessory like a monitor or a mouse or like a special mouse, a special monitor, a special keyboard, and they would also have a worker from the Pixelverse, and they may be legendary, epic, rare, or common.
Cool.
And then you'd go over into the project hub, and you'd create a new game. And because you have so much experience with video games, you've got some ideas. So if you have one, it's going to ask you a few questions, and you're going to create a game. And if you want, I could create one. It takes like a couple of minutes.
Cool. Yeah, let's do that.
2 minutes or something.
Yeah.
So let's say you have a few NFTs. So you could create, instead of a solo where it's just one developer, you're going to do a small where you can have 3. And eventually we're going to do other ones where you can have big teams working on it.
Yep.
And what would you like to do? A fighting genre, a casual RPG, adventure?
RPG.
RPG. And then what is the theme of it? Fantasy, medieval, ninja, pirate?
Oh, there's also fantasy.
Post-apocalyptic fantasy. Fantasy RPG on PC, console, or arcade?
You got to go PC, wider audience.
Okay. So here's on this RPG and fantasy. Sometimes, like, the market is very all in on fantasy. So there's going to be like certain things, notifications like, hey, someone just did a hit game on fantasy and now it's got like a boost on fantasy games right now.
Yeah.
You know?
Cool.
But over here on platform, basically you would be competing kind of against the other people doing PC or the other people doing console. So before you go
any further, when you say fantasy, almost there can be this bonus. It's like there can be these trends in the marketplace where suddenly fantasy is super hot.
Trends.
Is that it?
Yep.
Cool.
Yep. Exactly. But also, you want to kind of see what other people are working on,
yes.
And sometimes if there's a lot in there, that means the pool is bigger and you want to join it. Or if there's no one in there, you're like, okay, I'll just go be the only one making a console game right now. So
cool.
All right, so we're gonna create a title for this RPG fantasy, and it's not prohibited to just this is what I do. I'll go to ChatGPT.
Yeah.
And I'll ask it for ideas, but we're going to do it ourselves.
Yeah.
What's a good name for a RPG fantasy?
Yeah, I'm playing a lot of Fallout 4 right now, actually, because of the new series. Maybe something like Unearthing the Vault. That feels like that's at least a starting point for an interesting title, I think.
All right, Unearthing the Vault, and then we give it a game description. So, just speak out loud. I'll write as fast as you. It doesn't have to be super long.
Yeah, ages have passed, generations have died. Rumors of the treasure and the globe of asterisks and it captured within the vault still persist. Can we find it? Something like that. I feel like that was pretty good off the dome.
Would you say the globe of what?
I just made up a word, asterisk. That's as good a spelling as any.
All right, and then I will tell you kind of what's coming in future editions. We are going to do a game cover system. Right now, we just generated a bunch for RPG and a bunch for fantasy, so you have them all available. But in the future, we want users to create some, and then they'll get approved. And you may pay some of the pixel token.
Cool.
To get it in there, but then when other people use it, maybe they'll pay some pixel token to use it.
That's so interesting because it's like just like in Splinterlands too, where there's like these layers of economy that are building on this game, even with land and how we access maybe different tokens that we use. That's very cool. I like that idea.
Okay, which I say it's either the snowman guy or it's this.
I really like the purple one. Yep, I like that purple with the fire, and they look like they're going on an adventure.
All right, and now we need to choose. Because I bought a bunch of packs on the main site during beta. I bought like 100 packs, so during beta, I was able to open 200 packs just because it was a perk for beta.
Okay.
When I go to regular, it's just going to be 100 packs, But like for beta, we wanted you to have a bunch of them.
I see.
I was able to, in the Pixelverse, what happens is that they have this thing called fusion. And if there are similar workers, if they have the same name, So if you find another Michaela, same first name,
Yes.
you can fuse them together.
Ah.
If you find someone with the same last name, Jobs. By the way, when we found the Pixelverse, when they discovered the Pixelverse,
Yep.
their technology was kind of similar to our 1980s. And the people there, it's another dimension. It's got a lot of similarities to Earth. So you'll see a lot of like names that may seem familiar from the 80s, from earlier history.
Sure.
So we've got we've got the Jobs, we've got Thelma from Thelma and Louise, we've got some 80s video game related stuff. You got, this Toriyama, I think, was a video game creator from in Earth. We've got Cosby. We even got a Jarvie.
Nice.
So if you found a couple of rare Jarvies, I think you have to find 3 or so rare Jarvies. You can merge them together and have an epic.
Okay.
So this fusion thing is pretty cool. So you can't find mythic cards in packs, but you could combine 2 legendaries to create a mythic.
Cool. Very cool. That's a bit different than Splinterlands, where in Splinterlands you grab like repeated rares and you make them a better rare. You're saying you take rares and you turn them into an epic, and epics go into legendary, and legendaries become mythics.
Exactly. But you still, you can't just combine epics together. They have to have some fusible ability.
Understood.
Whether it's first name, last name. There are a few out there that they're rare, but they have like nicknames.
Cool.
So Tatiana Transistor Toriyama, you can do that, but it's like, do I want to, that's such a cool nickname. I don't know. I kind of want, anyways.
Really cool.
So you can merge them. So I could put, who do I want working on this? I feel like it's more likely you're going to have maybe an epic.
Mm-hmm.
So we should put this Tatiana.
Okay.
We said it was a 3-person team, right? So we got Tatiana. We're going to put... we got to find that Jarvie. We should put one of the Jarvies. It is a Dane, a Cloud. And then you can look at it and go, okay, they've got certain traits.
Yes.
So this is an AI scientist, or it's a puzzle solver. So you can look at it and say, oh, this is good for point-and-click games.
Yeah.
But we're doing an RPG game. So let's look for someone that's good at RPG.
Interesting. So understanding the different traits and the synergies across your team, as well as managing your resources of the development team that you have access to in the games you're trying to create.
Yeah. Look at this one. So this one is really good at working in a team with 3 members, like some developers are. So we're going to use that guy because we're doing a 3-person team.
Cool.
And then chess player is good at strategy. We weren't doing strategy. Simulation, dungeon, RPG. So
nice.
So Trace Huxtable. You know Huxtables, right?
Yeah.
In the 1980s.
Yeah.
So Trace Huxtable is good at RPGs.
Cool.
So our combined speed, skill, and cost is what we're looking at.
Okay.
So we've got
31 speed,
got a good
skill,
amount.
228 cost.
Because we got skill here. This guy's obviously a legendary. He's got really good. But then, when their skill goes up, their cost per hour goes up.
Before you press continue,
how much pixels?
Before you can, I'm noticing some distinctions across these different developers. So, for instance, Uziel, which is a great name, has underneath it where it says Harmony Hero, she or he, I think it's he, has 4 different sort of icons. Yeah, those things. Whereas some of these other guys,
I have equipped Uziel with special accessories.
Gotcha.
Remember, every time you open a pack, you get either a developer or a designer. And in the future, there will be other roles, but right now, just developers and designers in the 1980s.
Cool.
but I've equipped him, so he's really quite powerful, like a good developer.
Yes.
He's a good developer with all the right stuff.
Yeah.
And he knows his stuff on racing games and working as a team.
Cool.
But he's going to be very, very good to work with. But I could equip all of them. But, you know, sometimes when you're in beta, you're like, it's not really worth it right now to do all that. I just want to equip some to see how it works. Yeah.
And it looks like, based on what you just showed me, we're talking like a 0.8 buff for speed and maybe skill for the variety of, and I'm sure there's, you know, probably common, rare, epic.
They're epic accessories.
Okay.
I'm closer to the screen, so I can see that they're purple.
Okay.
And purple means epic.
So we can put a varying degree of quality of items onto our developers or designers. And we'll give them buffs of some nature. They'll either be amazing buffs or, you know, maybe less so. Cool. Really cool.
I did show you that they all have like a biography. They all have like interesting things about them. So it's kind of fun.
That's really cool.
But we're halfway through this, so we don't want to stop here. Okay. So I'm going to hit continue. Okay. And then I've done research. So if you look on the left-hand side, you can do, you know how you have like tree-style research? Yes. So there's research and development. I did some research here in the beta. So I am going to implement a 2D engine. And it's going to cost a little bit more to implement it. Mm-hmm. Like, it's going to cost 40 pixel.
Okay.
But let's do it. Okay, we're done. And I am going to implement the ability to save game, because that was quite the thing in the 1980s once they started to be able to save game.
Especially with RPGs, you need to save game.
And so we've got a 10 pixel boost.
Okay.
And it does say gameplay. It helps with gameplay, story, and quests.
Wow, this is really, really cool. I'm genuinely impressed by what I'm seeing so far.
All right, I could add in like audio stuff, but this is just going to increase. I think you can. Yeah, I don't know. Let's just continue. I did a bunch of research and stuff. This is, I'd say, where you're playing the game, the main, like this is a lot of where you're playing the game.
I see what you mean.
Right here on game development.
Yeah.
Because here you're choosing how long you want the project to work. What we found out between Earth and the Pixelverse is that that each hour of ours was roughly worth about a week of theirs. I think that's how it worked. So 6 hours was about 6 weeks of development, our time, right? So if I hit 12 hours, then they'll be working for 12 weeks, but only I could come back in 12 hours from now and start another game.
I see. With those same developers.
If you see, with the same developers. But developers, the more and more they work, the closer they get to retirement, where they then become like, what do you call it when you retire? You become like a mentor.
Okay.
So you're still can do something, but you're not actively leading a project development. So
cool, really cool.
So you don't always want to use your best developers. You want to kind of like spread them out, you know, like I want him to work on stuff. Now I want him to work on stuff, because you're a whole studio and you want, you know, like if you just use the same 3 people all the time, what's going to happen in like a few weeks from now when they're like ready to, you know, retire? You've got to start from the beginning, and, you know, I don't know. Yeah,
that sounds cool. You have to manage. That's another level in consideration of how you manage the resources, even the people resources.
Yeah. So so if you click on 6 hours, I've only got 40 development points to use. If I use 12 hours, 46, 24, I've got 51 development points. So it doesn't like, oh, well, it's not that much better, but that little bit more means a lot for final score. You know, like it's really quite good, you know,
Wow.
like to have a few more development points.
Cool.
But as you can see, we have a boost because of a research.
Okay.
All these research boosts we got because of the research things we did. They're not huge, 3%, 1%, but they're not, I haven't like gone all the way on the research.
Okay.
So it is what it is. But for RPG, this is kind of where you're kind of playing the game against the algorithm, I suppose. Like, what does an RPG need?
An RPG needs an
Where-
amazing story. It also needs great dialogue, level and world design.
Okay, what doesn't it need?
It doesn't.
much of?
It doesn't need. It doesn't need graphics. It doesn't need amazing sound. I mean, we would want them, but you know what I mean. Let's see.
Yeah, like low 3s or something. Controller probably like a 2.
If games like Fallout are any indication, the engine can be quite buggy, so we could go a little bit low on the engine. But it's nice that you got a 15% bonus on the engine, which is like interesting to think about how, you know what I mean? You want to leverage your bonuses or lean into your talents. Gameplay, I would say if we had extra, I'd want to put more into gameplay. We got 9.
We've got 9 left.
I would really want to add a little bit more to
Let's put controller at 3, I guess.
Maybe one more to
everything
story
is a
and
baseline
quest.
of 3.
One more to story and quest. Maybe that'd be awesome. And then,
How about AI?
Yeah. The capacity for it to respond creatively would be really neat. Got 5 more points. I think gameplay, 2 more to gameplay, maybe 1 more to dialogue, and 1 more to, I don't know, maybe controller.
Okay.
Yeah.
We got 1 more.
Okay, maybe engine, because we get that 15% bonus. Take advantage of that.
All right.
That looks pretty good.
You're kind of trying to figure it out. You're exploring. You're trying to like understand what works best. But then again, you've got all the like bonuses and things, and you know, like there's other stuff going on. So then we're just going to hit continue.
Okay.
So it's going to, because I'm employing my workers, they have a cost per hour.
Okay.
And there's 12 hours. So it's 456 pixel. Now, every time you open a pack, you also get pixel, just so you know.
Okay.
But then you can also earn pixel, obviously. I wouldn't say that we're like a, you know, come in and 5x your portfolio. We are a little more centric on playing a fun game.
Yep.
You should be earning, as long as you're better than some people, you know, like where you have a better outcome, you're not gonna like double the amount in a game, and you're not going to, you know, lose 50% in a game. You're going up a little by little, but that's fine because you could do several games a day.
Cool.
So I guess if you're very active, you could be having a pretty good APR, but that's not really what we're trying to, you know, create the game for. We want it to be fun. We want people to like get invested in their studio, earn reputation. I think my reputation here is 15 on the studio. Cool. You know, there's things that are going to happen as your reputation goes up.
Where is the ceiling for the studio reputation? 100?
I'm not actually sure.
Okay.
We'd have to ask Asgarth that question.
Okay.
I'm just going to create this game real fast.
Let's do it.
So we're just hoping that this game earns more than 456 and does well, because that will increase our reputation. So it's not just that I'm getting pixels. I'm giving my developers, I'm giving them more experience. Yes. And as they get more experience, they could get another trait later on.
Really cool.
Or they could qualify for certain training center things because they've done some stuff. So anyways, all right, great game. And let me just log in. Oh, we also created our Peak Open Projects is creating a new wallet
for
like Hive keychain
Cool.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, I think it worked. The keychain still has to, our wallet still is a little bit buggy. I don't know that it did work. I should have just used keychain. Dang it. Oh well. We went through the whole process.
Yeah.
So here's all the different people that have created games here on the released games recently.
Okay.
And what's fun is to go and look at the reviews. So so there'll be like 3 professional reviewers, and then there'll be 2 reviewers that come from other people's game studios.
Okay. 3
So
professional
developer.
professionals. When you say 3 professionals, you mean AI sourced reviews? And
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And some of them are very fun. Like this Prudence Pureheart has pretty fun reviews.
Cool.
Point Apocalypse plunges players into a world ravaged by the aftermath of disaster, offering a post-apocalyptic setting that is both bleak and intriguing. As I meticulously combed through this game, I couldn't help but notice the subtle moral undertones woven into the narrative. While the theme of survival is prevalent, there are instances where the decisions players make raise ethical questions. However, because, you know, her name's Prudence Pureheart.
Yeah.
So she's all about like this woke sort of thing.
Yeah.
However, it is important to remember that Point Apocalypse is a work of fiction, and these moral dilemmas deserve to enhance the gameplay rather. Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah.
So, and Vera Versus, I think, gives a lot of like, you know, like, how does this compare to something else?
Okay.
There's a couple really funny ones in there that are just, you know, they're crazy. So
I feel like there'd be all kinds of space for implementation of the Easter eggs in this game. Meaning, like you could have other reviewers. Like we live in a real world where there are tons of video game reviewers that are on YouTube, for instance, and people in our community would probably know and respect and recognize different names. Angry Joe, you know, whoever. And you could imagine if you had like fictitious versions of them within this game and you gave them a certain voice that was, you know what I mean? There's a way to maybe really scratch a certain itch where like, hey, I know that person. And that often is fun for gamers.
Yeah. So this one, Mindy Memento, it's like Jingle Jungle Adventures, despite its music-themed premise, lacks the emotional depth to resonate with players on a psychological level. The game's repetitive. Anyways, it's kind of interesting.
A good one. I want to see like a high-scoring title.
Girls Just Want to Have Fun is the top one. Our event for this week, we're basically giving out prizes to everyone that creates the best and the worst game each day. So the best game so far today, Jenny Joyfield, Penny Goldstein, Cleo Faulkner. Let's see, Jenny Joyfield. Girls Just Want to Have Fun is a delightful addition to family gaming. Oh, so she's all about like family gaming and stuff like that. So. Oh, this is fun. Girls Just Want to Have Fun offers mindless entertainment as zombie girls munch on brains. The casual gameplay is perfect for unwinding, but the lack of variety may leave you hungry for more. I like that, hungry for more.
Yeah.
It's a decent time kill for zombie enthusiasts.
So then what's the action? Is there an action piece from our perspective once we've crafted the project? Is there something we can, you know, follow up with, like maybe an advertising campaign to like push it after launch? Or is there a second piece, or is it the creation is the piece right now?
Creation is most of the piece, and then in future, you know, like after the 1980s epic, will be a bit more going on. Maybe some more marketing aspects.
Cool.
But there's also research and development where you can put your workers. So workers can create games, but they can also do research and development. They can also go to the training center and get trained on certain things. So right now, there's this training for team training has a capacity of 6 people can be trained, and there's 2 students in there right now. So this one, the platform training, 6 seat capacity, but 6 students are already in there right now. So yeah, so you can train them, and what happens is that if you go in there, you know how there's traits?
Yep.
Well, you can go and if you don't like a certain trait, you can kind of like train them on something different, you know?
Cool.
So
it seems to me, I had a question actually about, and I think the answer is a bit complicated, but I'll try and probe it anyways. How many projects can one developer designer create before they go into mentorship? Or is it more about the number of hours, or is there a flexibility?
It's more about the number of hours. So
and is it
as they go up, they have a if you look at the rule book,
yeah,
there's a lot more in there.
It's all spelled out in there.
Yeah, so there's a white paper that will have your team and mentors and apprentices. It's somewhere else. Roles. Nope. Your team. Oh, there we go. So a common can do, I think roughly, I think this is right, 2,400 hours.
Okay. And
is that right?
So the more powerful.
Am I getting it wrong?
The more powerful the card, though, the more like longevity, the career-wise, they are enabled.
Yeah. So if Mythics can do more than twice of what a common can do, almost 3 times. You know, legendaries are twice what a common can do. So
cool.
And they can have 4 traits. A legendary can have 4 traits, whereas a common starts with 0. If you get up to 720 XP, they'll get 1 trait.
I see. Really cool.
And an epic can have 1 trait, but then at the end can have 3 at the end. And you know, legendaries 2 up to 4, 3 to 5. So you kind of want, you know, to not just use the same ones all the time, but you can for quite a while. And then on the game, you'll see in your training center or your my resources, I look at my team and there's a little counter here. I've used 94 XP on this guy. I have 76, so I have a lot more I could play with this person. So
when you play with the person or the designers or developers and they earn XP, and then we can earn more traits through that process, are those traits going to be chosen by the player, randomly assigned, or
randomly assigned?
Okay.
And then you can go take them to the training center if you want.
Cool.
So.
Cool. And the training center is that intentional, I want you to learn about this topic.
Yes.
That's very cool. Very cool. And it strikes me that like my mind already, I'm seeing a lot of sort of strategy and the capacity for a great deal of sort of personal agency, which is like something I'm really realizing is so important for our games, for blockchain-based gaming. For a game to be fun, you need to have the impact and sort of a sort of a decision tree that matters. And what I'm seeing is that's so. Even with the research and development and how you had one of them was like 15% bonus and a couple of them were 3%. Well, if I was going to make a studio and I wanted to really develop my reputation, I probably am going to lean into research and development that are specific around, that are going to help me in a particular genre. Like if I feel storytelling is really important, then I'm going to want, that capacity to be buffed. And then I'm going to maybe duplicate that approach. It seems like a logical strategy to me.
Yeah.
Very cool.
If you want to see some of the very best games out there, but then again, our algorithm was different on beta than what it's going to be on the real one, because we didn't want people quite figuring it out quite yet, So, but if you can see here, some of them got really high ratings, but I rarely get one that high. That's crazy. They kind of figured out whatever this type of game, simulation racing. They figured that one out pretty well.
So that
they put in 1200. They put in 1233 pixel into it, but they ended up with 1974. So
yeah, I saw
they
that.
did pretty good.
So they really spent.
And what happens is every hour after you're done and released your game,
Yep.
it goes into a round, and everyone else. So all this money, this 1233, goes into a pool, and everyone, based on your your rating and everything, if you have a much higher rating, you'll get a larger percentage of the pool.
Cool.
Obviously, 9.5 means they got a pretty large percentage of the pool. And there's also a little bit of inflation that goes into it. So let's say there's 100 pixels or 1,000 pixels in the pool. There may be like 100, like 1,001 coming back, but I mean that's actually pretty good because you could do several games a day. So and also if you're doing better than some of your compatriots, getting really high scores, and you're getting even more pixel from the pool, and maybe they're ending with a little bit less, but then again, they're also getting, they're training their workers, and they're increasing their reputation, hopefully.
So pixel is the in-game currency. Is that how we buy packs?
Yes.
Okay. So we access pixel.
You buy packs with Hive or HBD.
Okay.
And then you'll get pixels. You'll get pixels, a developer, and or developer or designer, and an accessory. So.
Okay. And then
when you get pixel, you're getting a locked version of pixel. So there's tokens versus coins, if you want to know about the economy.
Okay.
And this is to keep us compliant.
Yep.
You cannot buy a tradable cryptocurrency from us.
I understand. That makes perfect sense.
That would put us in a bad space. You cannot buy a tradable cryptocurrency from us.
Cool.
So you'll get a coin version of pixel. See how I have 70 or 45,000 of the coins?
Yes.
But I only have 7,000 tokens because I earned the tokens by playing the game.
Gotcha.
But I can still spend the coins on development. But in tokens, you can still spend them on creating a game.
Yep.
Or in the training center or a hub. But you can also go to the marketplace and buy accessories or developers from other people.
With your tokens only, you can
Yes, only with your tokens can you buy from other people.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense.
It's a Hive engine based token, so you'll be able to go in and grab it from. You'll be able to buy tokens from like the marketplace, like tribal decks and stuff like that.
But I can use my coins, which are the the non-tradable. I can use my coins in game development, in training center, and research.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, exactly.
Neat.
And when you're spending in training center and research, it actually adds to a different pool. A lot of that's in the book here.
Yeah.
But sorry. My mouse is kind of wigging out on me. Okay. So it goes into the pool. So we're not you're not paying our development team and stuff like that. So
click on RPG. I want to see what the highest rated RPG has been. Retired RPG, yeah.
The highest rated retired RPG was 9.0. We don't get to see their what they did for the development.
Okay.
And in the future, what will happen is that you could pay to get like a you've got reviews, right, which are fun verbal things, but you can pay someone to kind of like analyze. So it's an analysis of your game and figure out kind of like why it didn't do so well or why it did do so well, really and kind of more of a technical analysis of your game. So
So what are the
So-
what are the packs going for, and what are like the next steps for people that are going to be excited or curious about what's going on here?
Rise of the Pixels, not the beta site. Let's take a look. If we go to the shop, it is $3 a pack, but we have a license to develop inside of the Pixelverse.
Mm-hmm.
So this is kind of like between Earth and the Pixelverse. We worked on something. We've decided it's $8, but you also get a starter pack that's guaranteed to have a developer and not a designer, because you can't create a game with just a designer.
Cool.
And that's going to be the same in the future when there's other roles.
Mm-hmm.
You're still going to need a developer, you know? So you get your license, you'll get your developer, you'll get a larger amount of pixel coins,
Mm-hmm.
and I still think an accessory. I'm not sure about that. Anyway, so that's $8, or right now that's 25 Hive,
Mm-hmm.
and then each pack is $3. Right now that's 9.4 Hive, and you'll get 100. I guess 100 pixel coins.
Do we get?
So that should get you.
Are there any eligible bonuses if we buy 100,000 bigger bulk purchases or anything like that?
We do not have that on purchases. Let me show you where we have it. It's actually even, I think, a little bit more interesting, and it helps so that your stuff doesn't get devalued so easily.
Mm.
You go into research. Oh, sorry, my resources, and you'll go to, you got team, you've got accessories, which I haven't really shown. So I've got the fuzzy legendary keyboard, the Wake Me Up headset. Anyways, if you go to packs, you'll see that you have recruiters up here.
Mm-hmm.
So these recruiters have certain abilities. So Grace,
Mm-hmm.
who has costs, she's kind of like a free worker, right? She's not going to charge you anything.
Mm-hmm.
She's just looking out for the Pixelverse, trying to get her fellow Pixelians employed.
Yep.
What she does is that when you open 100 packs, you'll get 4% more people recruited for you.
Okay.
So you'll have 104. What is that? Is that right? Yeah. So you'll get 104 workers when you open 104 packs, 100 packs. And when you open 200 packs, she'll get you 210 people working for you.
Cool. And these.
But Sid,
Yeah.
he's another recruiter, but you need a higher reputation studio to be able to use him.
Sid Meier. These.
Sid Meier.
Civilization, I think. But I love that.
Yeah. So, but he'll guarantee you, he'll have certain guarantees for rares, epics, and legendaries.
Cool.
So,
yeah, so you can even this is a staffing choice or a experience choice that you can manage as the leader of the company.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, so we're doing the same sort of, in some ways you've got the same sort of thing where you can have a little bit of bonus on numbers, but you could choose the bonus, or you could choose, like, I want a guaranteed legendary.
Yeah.
Because there's no guarantee. It's 1 out of 100, and if you open 100 with Grace, you're not necessarily guaranteed to get the legendary. So with Sid, you are. So
Yeah, it sounds awesome. I'm genuinely interested. Even when I was poking around by myself at the site, reading what I was able to read weeks ago now.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, this sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. And it does seem like there's a lot of, agency and control, and there's a degree of expertise that's going to be powerful. And it looks like, even the best games were their rewards were not like 10 billion pixel and they only paid 5, you know what I mean? So it's like,
yeah.
So from an inflation standpoint, I'm expecting that's, sustainable and going to be fun and yet satisfying and fun.
If they jump in now, there's also this like Raffles thing that's going on to earn some more during the pre-launch, the 1 week pre-launch event. You'll get points for creating a game. You'll get points for, doing some research. Points basically to help you learn what's going on with the game.
Yep.
And points for having packs, of course, which me and Asgarth both have a lot of packs. So, and have played a lot previously. But we're not eligible for most of this, so.
And those are Hive names, right? Those are not in-game names?
They're all Hive. Yeah.
Okay,
all Hive
cool.
names. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, looks great. And it was $3 per pack, I think it was. And
yeah, $8 to start, which includes that kind of more powerful starting pack. Yep. So it's, I don't know what it's technically, I don't know, it's like a $5 pack, maybe $4 or $5 pack. And so honestly, it's like, $3-4 to start. So
it sounds awesome, man. I've been, for everything right now, like Splinterlands, as well as some of the other things I'm curious about, I've been just like praying that some of my other crypto just has a little bit of a ride. If I can just pull the trigger on some stuff to, to start moving some things around. Mm-hmm. It just feels like there's some really fun, exciting things to be looking at, including Rise of the Pixels.
Yeah.
And you guys have your own Discord for the game, right?
We have our own Discord for the game. Yep. So if you wanted to link that, I'll send that link to you.
I see it on here. I'll pull it up and I'll make sure it's on the description.
Okay.
Anything else that you feel like we didn't cover that you think the people are going to want to know or need to know?
Well, I mean, that fusion ability is very different, and so I'm really excited for the marketplace to go live. Mm-hmm. I've already tested it. It works great. I'll be looking for some Jarvies.
Max level Jarvie.
So list those ones on the website. So I thought about buying more and more packs, but I was like, no, I really kind of want to use the marketplace a little bit more. So I've got some packs I'll open, but I'm gonna go in and try to find cards that have similar names to what I have and just combine those. So
I think there's gonna be room to have a lot of fun with, like I said earlier, all the different Easter eggs that would be possible in something like this. I talked about it with the reviewers, but also with the game designers, the developers. You can drop, like you already are doing it, but you can get, you can take spins on all of the, who created Mario, you can just grab those names and bring them in, and people are going to see that and they're going to know, because the people involved in playing your game are going to be those gamers who grew up loving games. And then it's like, hey, that's the developer of my favorite game. And they absolutely, just like you said about your Jarvie, it's like you want to chase that down. They're going to want to chase that down too. I think that's neat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And then there'll be eventually another epic, there'll be another 1990s kind of time period.
Cool.
Eventually the Pixelverse will progress, and there'll be more technologies, and there'll be
Are you imagining those like seasons, or is that like bigger? Like are we talking every 2 weeks we're switching through epics, or are we talking a year?
Oh no. Yeah, months.
Gotcha.
If not, depending on how popular it gets, I guess.
That's really cool.
And if we run out of the NFTs right now, then we're gonna have to, get some more, and that'll probably necessitate us either doing a small edition or moving to 1990s. So or there'll be some different names mostly, but there'll be a few holdovers from the old names so that you can still fuse and stuff. So.
Interesting. To get my head around it, and maybe the head around some of the people who might watch, we're talking about like editions, like card editions. There's this edition, which is very 80s, and then we're going to have a different edition, which might be thought of as the 90s, etc.
Yes. Along with it is a separate thing, but we will increase the technology that they're able to do, the research that they're able to do, the training, and the things that's just going to happen in the games. Mm-hmm. The next version isn't just going to have developers and designers. There's going to be other roles in your studio.
Yeah, that seems like a logical jumping point where we talked about marketing, but you could imagine HR. You could like these different, and then the team. Now you don't even. It's hard to run a game with that small team, and you want that medium-sized team. But then it's more pixel cost, but then maybe the rewards are bigger, or you open new opportunities and angles for game design too. So this is really, really cool. Was this Asgar's idea? Like
This is his idea. Yeah, his baby. We've given ideas to him here and there. Some of them I've like made it too complicated. He's like, nope, we're just gonna keep it this way. And so he has final say, and he is the brains behind it.
Dude, it also
behind it.
I was thinking this earlier and I didn't say it, but it's also very meta too. Like the idea of we are playing a game where we design games.
Yes.
I really, really think this is like fun and cool, and I think I suspect people are going to agree. So I hope it does extremely well, pal.
Thanks.
And I'm looking forward to follow up. Like maybe we can chat in a couple months and see how things are evolving, what's new. I'm sure things will be rapidly, So I'd love that.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay.
Perfect.
Guys, if you're curious, check out the link in the description. I'll link the main site as well as the Discord, and I'm sure that the community over there would be happy to answer questions too. And the white paper too, I'll link that too, because there's going to be probably questions on tokenomics or whatever else. So, guys, thanks so much for your time and attention. I hope you have an amazing day. And Jarvie, thanks for popping by, buddy.
Thank you.
Have a great day, guys. Bye for now.